Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope now you are relaxed after your first periodic. But let us continue with our studies. As you know, now we have to begin with Unit 7. Unit 6 we have left out, we will not do. So today we are going to begin with the lesson Gulliver's Travels. You have done a similar story earlier. This is also a classic tale where we are going to study about Gulliver, who was a sailor. Gulliver's Travels is an autobiography. Now, you must be wondering what is an autobiography? When a person tells the story of his life in his own words, it is called an autobiography. Gulliver, who was a sailor, he was once caught in the land of giants, people who were very huge in size. So, in this lesson, we are going to study about his experiences in that strange land. Let's begin. On the 16th of June 1730, we discovered land. Our captain sent a dozen men with vessels for water if any could be found. So they were on a ship, and the captain ordered few men to go to the land and find out water for drinking purposes. When we came to land, we saw no river or spring, nor any inhabitants. Inhabitants are the people who live in a particular area. So when these sailors they came to this island, they could not see any water body nor anybody living there. I went on to explore. Now children, who is the I here? Yes, I is Gulliver himself. The country was barren and rocky. Barren means where nothing grows. I turned back to join the crew. Crew is the group of sailors, only to see them getting into the boat and rowing for life to get to the ship. Before I could reach them, I observed a huge creature walking after them in the sea as fast as he could. You could see it in the picture. The friends of Gulliver, they quickly wanted to flee from there in their own boat. And Gulliver saw that they were afraid of the giant man who was going to catch them in the sea. The water of the ocean reached only till his knees. Imagine, children, he was so huge that the water of the ocean could reach only till his knees. However, the monster was unable to overtake the speeding boat. I turned back quickly and climbed up a steep hill with fields of barley on either side and the corn rising up to 40 feet. Imagine, even the corn was up till 40 feet in height. There was a fence to pass from one field to the other. It was impossible for me to climb because every step was 6 feet high. Imagine, children, the height. Each step was 6 feet, and Gulliver was a small man. So it was impossible for him to climb the steps. I was trying to find a gap in the hedge when I discovered one of the inhabitants in the next field walking towards the fence. He was of the same size as the creature chasing the boat. So now he could see two giant men over there, one who was chasing the boat and the other one who was in the next field. I was struck with utmost fear and astonishment and ran to hide myself. So Gulliver was very, very afraid and surprised as well to see such huge men and a land where even the crops were so large, so tall. He called in a voice much louder than a trumpet. It sounded like thunder. So the voice of the giant man sounded like thunder. 7 monsters like him came towards the field, ready to reap the corn. So 7 more friends, giants, came towards the field and they were all trying to reap the corn, cut the corn. They carried a reaping hook which was very big. When one of the reapers approached where I lay hidden, I screamed as loud as I could. The creature stopped reaping, picked me up between his thumb and forefinger, and brought me close to his eyes, 60 feet above the ground. So, here, children, as they had come to reap the corn, Gulliver was hiding in the field. He screamed loudly because if he would not scream, then he would get hurt by the reaping hook. So when he screamed, the giant creature picked up Gulliver from the ground, and the height of this man was 60 feet. Isn't that very, very high, children? As high as a 6-story tall building. So imagine how frightened Gulliver must be. He looked at me with curiosity and blew my hair aside to get a better view of my face. Who is the he here? Yes, it is the giant. So the giant was also very, very curious, and he, in order to see his face better, blew Gulliver's hair aside. He called his friends and gently placed me on the ground. They all sat on the ground to take a good look at me. Why do you think, children, they wanted to look at Gulliver so carefully? Yes, they were equally surprised at having seen such a tiny man. I walked. Here you can see a picture, children. This will come later in the story. Slowly backward and forward, pulled off my hat and made a low bow towards the farmers. I tried to speak to them loudly in several languages. Each time I did so, the farmer who picked me up held his ear very close to me, but in vain. So, Gulliver was trying to speak very loudly, but these people could not hear his voice. The farmer took me to his house and placed me at some distance on the dining table, which was 30 feet high from the ground. So even the dining table was 30 feet high, and this farmer took Gulliver to his own house. Dinner was brought for the farmer in a dish which was 10 feet in diameter. The farmer's wife crumbled some bread and placed it before me. In the middle of the dinner, I heard a noise behind me. It was the purring of a cat that was 10 times larger than an ox. So the size of the cat was larger than the ox that we have here. The farmer's wife was stroking him. Then entered the farmer's 1-year-old son in the arms of a lady. On seeing me, the child grabbed me from the table and put my head into his mouth. This is what the picture you were seeing here. So this is the farmer's son. He is 1 year old and he was so surprised he thought it's a toy. He picked up Gulliver from the table and tried to put it into his own mouth. And you can see the cat here, the huge cat. I shouted so loudly that the baby dropped me. I would have broken my neck if the mother had not held her apron under me. So Gulliver was saved from having a bad fall, as the farmer's wife put her apron under him. Later, she put me on her own bed and covered me with a clean white handkerchief. So this shows that the farmer's wife was a kind lady. I slept dreaming of my home My Wife and My Children, adapted from Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels. This is a complete novel, children. If you wish to read it, you can either read it offline or even online. It is available. Try to read it. It's a classic novel and I hope you will enjoy it. So, this is the explanation of the story. Now, here are the words that you have today heard for the first time. We must know what they mean. Bellowing, very loud noise. Inhabitants, occupants. Barren, land with no vegetation. Astonishment, greatly surprised. Crumbled, broken into pieces. Grab, here the grab here means pick suddenly. So these new words, as you always do, you have to write them in your notebooks and you must learn all the difficult spellings of this lesson. We will do the exercises and question answers next time. Read the lesson carefully, learn the spellings, learn the word meanings. Take care, children. Bye for now.